Welcome to the CraveCast. I am your host, Eric Mack, live from CNET's Always Busy Taos, New Mexico Bureau, aka Westeros North. More on that later. Joining me live in the CNET studios in San Francisco are Caitlin Petrakovich. I almost had it!
Oh, you had it before. You had it.
Caitlin Petrakovich.
There we go.
Jeff Sparkman. And behind the controls, Stephen Beecham.
Howdy.
And also Skyping in from Westeros South in Albuquerque, it's Amanda Kuzer.
Yay!
How's everyone doing?
Good.
Excellent. And then anyone else can join in if you're watching on YouTube or on live stream. Jump in the chat room there. You can also tweet at us at Crave, and I'm at Eric C. Mack, and we'll keep an eye on those. So for today, it is time to sing Songs of Ice and Fire because the season 6 premiere of Game of Thrones on HBO. It drops on Sunday.
Yay!
Sunday.
We're basically talking about it nonstop all week, so we figured we should probably turn on the cameras for some of that so we can capture a little of our stream of consciousness. But so why don't we go ahead and kick it off with the Iron Throne equivalent of a Pledge of Allegiance, and let's begin with the all-important viewing of the trailer. Or a Dinklage minifig, either way.
Okay, so which one's the trailer? Because there was one. There wasn't one that said trailer 1. There was trailer 2 that I found.
Trailer 2's a little more awesome.
Okay, let's see if I can find that one here. Sorry, guys. They're all named funny. Let's see.
Trailer 2 fits in
We
like...
watch. We listen.
This is trailer 1, right?
And we remember.
No, I don't think so.
The
No.
past is already written.
This is like a.
The ink is dry.
This is like a fan thing.
Okay, here we're gonna show this one then. This is trailer number 2.
I thought he was the man to lead us through the long night, but I was wrong.
You like games, little man.
You would spill blood in this holy place.
The gods won't mind. They spill more blood than the rest of us combined.
Who are you?
No one.
A girl has been given a second chance. There will not be a third.
That's all I think about. What was taken from me.
I know what happens.
There's no hiding from this. We have to fight.
Stand at the head of our army where you belong. Show them what Lannisters are. What we do to our enemies.
The real war is between the living and the dead. And make no mistake, the dead are coming.
Dragons do not do well in captivity.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
New tagline.
That's like my resume.
Oh,
Totally saw
snap.
that coming.
I don't think I'd seen that trailer yet.
That's
a good one.
Jinx.
So, before we jump into this, I should say that if you feel like you watched that and you actually knew what was going on the entire time, you really need to go do our quiz. We set up a quiz, a Crave quiz for Game of Thrones leading up to the season premiere on Sunday. I took it this morning. I only got 4 of 15 questions right, which is kind of sad because Jeff, who's never seen an episode of Game of Thrones, also got 4 out of 15 right. Caitlin.
That's how I roll, man.
Who's our resident expert, got 16 out of 15.
Okay, I took it before. We took out a question, but whatever. Extra credit can't be my score.
So yeah, we'll deal with that later. So what do you guys think? Are you excited, Caitlin? What's the scoop? What are you looking forward to most?
I don't know. I hadn't actually seen that trailer, so I'm kind of still thinking about it, to be honest.
I want to know what's going to happen to Khaleesi. Last we saw her, she was dropped on the side of a mountain.
Yeah, and then in
Her
that
dragon was
trailer,
hurt.
she was getting her clothes ripped off in a
Yes.
tent, probably by another Khal Drogo hater.
Yeah, I mean, Shiz pretty much got turned like upside down in the last episode. Like, I mean, the Lannisters are largely out of power. We all know what may or may not have happened to Jon Snow. There's tons of unanswered questions. Not to mention where like Melisandre, the Red Witch, stands. I mean, there's so much going on. I guess there's always a ton going on. But on the main question of the offseason, which I guess would be Jon Snow, right? I did a post this morning based on some students at the University of Munich, the Technical University of Munich. They used an algorithm and they went through all of the books and also the shows and kind of pulled out different data on all the characters and then tried to calculate who had the most likely chance of surviving and the most likely chance of dying. The person with the least likely chance of dying. You want to guess who it is? So
Peter
the person most
Dinklage.
likely to survive. Not Peter Dinklage.
Jon Snow?
Most likely to survive. Very close, Amanda.
Melisandre?
Most likely to
Sansa.
survive.
Sansa.
Cersei.
Cersei.
Most likely to survive. Only so according to this algorithm, Cersei Lannister only has a 3% chance of dying. Now, number 2 is very interesting. Number 2 most likely to survive, Jon Snow, 11% chance of dying. So, I mean, mathematically, algorithmically, I think things are actually looking up for Jon. Any guesses on who's most likely to die? This is actually kind of easy if you think about it.
That's a tough one. Most likely to die?
Yeah,
Most
but
likely
not
to-
like most likely to die by George R.R. Martin standards, but most likely to die by the algorithm.
By the algorithm. And basically what they did is they assigned like each character like 24 characteristics, features. And so then they went back and looked at who has those features and who died. So in other words, if a character has all the features who's still living of a character who's already died, well, then they're probably pretty likely to die. Hopefully that makes sense, but that's kind of how it works. So the most likely to die by that measure is Tommen Baratheon, the like current boy king. So
yeah,
I
it
mean,
looked like something bad was happening to him in the trailer that we just saw. So
yeah, I mean
that's
that
probably...
kid is.
What? Guys, I've only seen that trailer once. I really want to watch it again.
You want to see it again? It looked like something bad happened to him.
I want to dissect it again and again now.
So yeah, I mean, there's there's a million different things going on. What do we think about Jon Snow? I mean, do you guys believe any of the theories that he's not really dead or that he's going to be resurrected?
Oh no, he's
What
like, I think he's like either he's totally dead and he's going to be resurrected.
Who's going to
some
resurrect
way.
him?
Or
the
they're
Red
going to
Witch?
steal the plot line from the book, and it's not actually Jon Snow. It's someone who was Jon's. Okay, if you read the books, I know. I don't think any of you read the books.
I did.
Oh, okay. So when the Giant King and what was it, Mance Raider and one of the other guys like switched faces, basically switched bodies.
Yeah,
naturally.
And we were all kind of confused when Mance actually did die because book readers were like, WTF, bro, we literally know what happens. I think that plot line where it was like a switcheroo fake out could be what happens with Jon Snow. I don't know who he would switch with in the show, but I think it's an open possibility.
Neat. I like that.
But then again, they haven't gone through a lot of the mysticism in the show. So, like, we haven't even gotten Lady Stoneheart.
Right, which I'm bummed about. So
Freaking bummed about. Sorry, I was distracted by the adorable cat puzzling your face. Super cute, by the way. Yeah, so a lot of the mysticism in the show has kind of fallen away. So it'll be interesting to see if, maybe they use the switcheroo, or maybe we start finally getting into some of the mysticism and he does, get resurrected.
Yeah, the Red Witch, she went back to Castle Black after Stannis' army was wiped out at Winterfell. So I could see her resurrecting Jon Snow because she knows that he has King's blood and she's going to want to bring him back.
Right.
To use him for her purposes or whatever she's trying to do. So I could see that happening.
So
and plus, Jon Snow is just such a big character. Like, it's hard, when he got killed off, everyone freaked out. They're like, "That's the end of the show."
Yeah, totally. I don't. And there's so much, so many breadcrumbs about like his lineage and his origins. It doesn't seem like it'd make any sense not to come back to that.
Yeah, and he also survived his girlfriend when she like shot him with a couple arrows. He survived that too. So he's got like 7 lives left.
Totally. Nothing, Jon Smith.
So Matt Smith in the YouTube chat room says Melisandre will try to resurrect Jon Snow, but will fail. So Bran and Bloodraven will save Jon Snow. Does that follow?
That'd be awesome. That's totally weird. I mean, at this point, we're reaching the end of the book reader's knowledge, right? Like, I don't know a whole lot more about certain characters than people who watch all the episodes of the show. I mean, there's some like Arya. We still have some we could reach into, but we are well past Sansa, especially with the changes to her storyline. Jon Snow, we're at the exact same point. Daenerys, we're at the exact same point. So, who knows? That's a pretty cool theory, though. I like it.
What about this one? The Doctor will save Jon Snow and Westeros with his TARDIS. Now, which book is that in?
I'm really down for that crossover. I would watch that all weekend.
So, Amanda, what's your take?
Oh, I think he's definitely coming back in some form or another. That's probably what I'm excited to see. How are they going to handle that? Maybe he'll end up like a White Walker-y sort of guy. We have an example of a sort of an undead nice guy in the book, which hasn't been played with too much in the TV show. I'm already getting confused. I mean, I've read the books, but things are diverging so much that it's a little hard for me to keep track of what I read in the books versus what I've been seeing on screen. So.
Could he come back as like a Star Wars-like glowing dead guy?
I mean, anything's possible, right?
I just said that to make Jeff laugh.
I want to see how many we can mash up all together.
You guys know this entire show is taking place on the holodeck of the Enterprise, right? That's all, this is all just like soon. Data's fever dream.
I would watch that show too in a heartbeat.
Someone in the chat room, on the YouTube chat room, was asking about Hodor. Didn't he quit the show in real life, right?
Hodor. What?
He left the show in real life, didn't he? Am I wrong?
Are you making things up?
No, I'm not. I thought I read that.
I feel like you're making things up.
I'm not making anything up.
Please Google it and prove it. I feel like
we had a story like months and months ago. I seem to remember that that said that they were coming back, Hodor and Bran, and also like the photos of Bran, like the actor, he's like a totally different person now.
I mean,
in terms of how much he's grown up.
Puberty for the win.
Right. I'm still waiting.
That sounded way more awkward and weird than I meant it. I just meant like, whoa, gross skirt, cool, awesome.
For the show.
I am really intrigued by Bran's story, actually. I think that it's finally going to get meaty and interesting and into his training and his, past visualizations and things like that. So
yeah,
I'm interested in his storyline this season.
I just found a few articles from September 2014 that Bran and Hodor won't be coming back.
That's for season 5. That's totally
season
different.
5.
And
okay, so
they won't be
in
coming
season 5.
back.
That's right. Okay.
Coming back is because they totally X'd Bran's storyline from that whole season. And they basically put it on pause until this one.
That's what I get for reading Twitter headlines and just scrolling by.
Ugh.
On it.
So do we have any predictions ourselves, either who will, rise to more prominence this season or who will die? Anyone want to go out on a limb?
I think we already kind of know and have seen this happening, but Sansa is turning into one of the strongest characters on the show.
She's turning into her mom.
Oh.
No, I mean...
She was one of the strongest characters.
Does that not bode well for her? I don't know.
No, I'm just saying she was one of the strongest characters on the show until the Red Wedding.
I don't don't know. I think Catelyn left a lot to be desired, and her incessant need to control Robb was a large part of her downfall. And I'm really, like I said, interested in Sansa and really want to see Arya's storyline this season as she becomes one of the Faceless Men. Hopefully.
But I mean, some characters are clearly ascendant, right? Like Arya is clearly ascendant. I think we're going to see a resurgence of Theon Greyjoy, I hope. The pairing of Tyrion Lannister and the Queen of Dragons is super interesting.
Okay, who was that girl in the trailer? The new chick who was all like, wink, wink. Like, I can't really wink, I'm sorry. But
you can't wink.
I'm not.
Let's come back to that later, okay? She was in the trailer and she was staring at Varys, and she gave him like a little like, haha, I know more than you do, kind of like sassy, snarky look, and then descended the stairs. Does that show Varys in Marine, where Daenerys was? Also, Daenerys is gone, so who's ruling? Is it Tyrion? Is it Varys? And also, can we talk about Jorah and his grayscale?
Ah, yes. That's right.
Wait, who's that?
Mormont?
He's the knight who got the gray, those like, what were they, rock
I fight for
features
my
or something?
queen.
He's got that thing growing on his arm now. He
Okay.
doesn't want anyone to know.
It's the same, isn't it the
Like
same
a
thing
rock
that,
thing or
why am I looking at Jeff? Like Jeff knows
because
this.
I'm gonna.
What?
I was
Get outta
just waiting
here.
for you to throw it to me. I was gonna make something up.
It's
the thing that Shireen had?
Yes.
Okay.
Grayscale.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think that's gonna work out well for him.
I don't know. We'll see.
And then isn't there and then at the end of season 5, there was a scene with Cersei talking to like a huge like masked
Zombie
soldier.
Mountain!
The mountain? Yeah, like the Return of the Mountain.
Clegane Bowl, which would be
Right.
the mountain fighting what's his face, and oh my god, I'm too excited. I just forgot all their names. But oh my god, Zombie Mountain.
Is that what it is? Because he has like, I looked in his face mask is all gray underneath. He's Zombie Mountain.
Yeah, so remember Qyburn,
Yeah.
Cersei's little lackey, was kind of like working on his body.
Right. So it's like the
Awkward
Westeros
quotes.
Frankenstein, basically.
Yeah. He's totally the Westerosi Frankenstein.
So now I'm starting
And
to
so
remember.
now he's created his monster, and it's.
And he's vowed an oath of silence until he kills all of Cersei's
I
enemies.
mean, has he really vowed an
That's what they
oath
said.
of silence? Or
Well, if
is he
tells
just
you
have
that he
no
did.
vocal cords because technically he's dead?
Ooh.
He's a
The
zombie.
old
He's a
dead
zombie.
vocal cord technicality.
He's a zombie. It's the same
Right.
reason we haven't heard anything from the White Walkers.
So now I'm starting to remember what I wrote in like the wrap up from like back in June, which was that if he turns out to be Zombie Mountain, or even better, Frankenstein Mountain, then that means
Volcano Los Dos.
right. That means Game of Thrones has more or less covered like all the like fantasy and sci-fi tropes. You got like Frankenstein, we got zombies, you got magic up the wazoo.
We haven't gone to space yet, Eric.
Yeah, I was gonna
so
say.
We haven't gone to space.
It's like
Well, and
a
I was
big
gonna
one
say
that's lacking.
they haven't yet had a vampire. Unless Jon Snow comes back and starts drinking blood, then they've covered it all. Mic drop, boom.
Okay, you can't tell me that Melisandre hasn't drank
Ooh, that's a good
blood.
point.
Yeah, I thought there was some
like-
blood drinking going on. I thought I saw blood.
Does that
drinking.
make her a vamp? I guess
She
that's vamp.
birthed a like black demon cloud, okay? If that Beezy ain't drinking blood, she's doing it wrong.
All right, you know what? You're right. I revised my statement. Jon Snow is in outer space. That's what's going on. Because we need to go to space still.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Done. George R.R. Martin out. So, just a couple other things if we have time. Do you have the link for the Amelia Clark spoof? It's kind of unrelated, but it's like super hilarious.
Oh, I do actually.
I think we need to play it.
Here you go.
This is something she did for Glamour.
Where's my wig? Where's my orange mocha frappuccino? Where's my accent? Where's the toilet? Seriously, where's the toilet?
Oh my god.
Where's the toilet paper? Where's the plunger? Just, like, don't go in there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Where are my Spanx? Where's the remote? Like, I want to watch, you know what I mean? Beverly Hills Housewives, God's sake. Yeah, hi, Tom. Where is my Uber? Where is my cleavage? What, do you see? Yeah, I mean, Justin, where are you now that I need you? I mean, is it too much to say that you're sorry? Where is my boyfriend? Where's my butt plug? Where's my privacy? Do you know what I mean? Bye. Dear Kim.
That's great.
There you go. And that says it all.
Oh my god, that was amazing. I didn't watch that yet.
So I don't know if we heard from you, Amanda. Any other thoughts, predictions on where the season's going to go?
Yeah, well, I think it's probably pretty clear based on the second trailer that the Queen of Dragons will find her Spanx this coming season. But,
she was getting undressed in a tent.
Mm-hmm. She will find them. They're probably with the Dothraki somewhere. That's my best guess. But I'm really excited about following Arya's storyline. Of course, anything with Tyrion. I don't know. There's so many threads here that are worth getting excited about. But picking up with Bran, I think it's going to be really interesting. So that's been a while since we've visited with him. And I'm really curious about how they're going to tie him back in with everybody else. So we'll see there.
Yeah, last we saw him, he made it to the tree, right? This magical tree or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see, too, who Max von Sydow is.
Oh.
Who is that? Who?
The one that he's... Sorry. Jeff, who's Max von Sydow?
Oh my god, he's been in everything.
Here's one you know.
Yes. My favorite role of his was when he played the evil brewmaster in Strange Brew, which is an awesome comedy, and it's probably nobody else.
And your privileges have been revoked.
Yes.
So
I was trying to go for
Max
the most.
von Sydow.
I love that movie.
Oh, he was in The Exorcist. You know.
In the pictures we've seen
that
of
Star
season
Wars
6,
movie, he was in that.
Oh yeah.
For like 2 seconds.
He is the one standing with Bran. So I don't know if maybe that's what you're looking for right now, Steven.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking for it.
As I hear you clicking around, I don't know. But he's standing in front of Bran, and Bran's looking at him, and we see him a bit in the trailer, and I think we even hear his voice over.
I definitely recognized his voice.
Yeah. Was that in the trailer we just watched today that we hear his voice, or it might have been in the first one?
It was in the first one that we I heard that in there.
So a couple of more interesting things from the chat room. Ryan Edward says Jon Snow will be cremated. Fire will save him because he is a Targaryen from his father's side.
Oh my God! R plus L equals J.
That's a good theory.
There are a ton of these theories on the internet, and I really, really like them.
That is a good theory.
Oh, here's one. Okay, Caitlin, did you catch this? Games for Days says Jorah touched Daenerys' hand when he had grayscale. Does that mean she will catch it? Also, what about ice spiders? I don't know what that means.
Oh,
what about what?
Spiders. Ice spiders. I think I do recall ice spiders somewhere.
What?
Maybe not.
Okay, I don't. But the grayscale one's a really good question. Plus, I mean, so in the books, help me out if you remember this, Amanda. Can't you, when they get grayscale, don't they usually like chop off their hand or their finger or whatever they have?
Yeah, I think it's an option to try to keep it from spreading, but
okay.
I mean that's kind of as bad as you can get. The daughter that survived it was a highly unusual case. I mean, usually they turn into crazy creatures who start attacking other people, but
right, they turn into weird whatevers. But I don't know. Has it ever been mentioned whether fire can stop the progression? Because that would be an interesting one with that Targaryen fact.
I don't remember that. Yeah, I don't remember a mention of that. But those books are big.
Right, and fire has such amazing properties in the books, especially. Like the last commenter said, maybe it'll resurrect Jon Snow.
Ooh, I love that idea.
I really do.
Yeah, there really is a million different directions to go with it. Any final thoughts on this season before we move on?
Is Stannis still alive, or is he dead? Because you never see him get
He's
killed.
Dead.
You just see
He's dead.
What's her name? I don't know her name, but she
Brienne of
says
Tarth.
she's gonna kill him, and then she swings, and we don't know if he's dead.
He's dead.
You know, for what it's worth, the algorithm says he's very dead.
Okay.
Very, very, very dead.
But is he most sincerely dead?
I feel like there was a interview where he and or Brienne were like, "Nah, yeah, he's out."
Mm-hmm.
So Game of Thrones YouTube channel has been posting all these short previews of season 6, and it's kind of like spoilery. I don't know if I want to show them, but do you guys want to see anything? Because I have one of Sansa, because the last we saw, she jumped off
Right.
the castle.
Right. But we also kind of already know she survives that, because then in the trailer we just saw, we saw her
she's
like
there,
in the snow with her same coat. Like,
Do you want to see right after that battle what happens? There's a video I have right here.
I guess we gave the spoiler alert, right? This
I'm
is
giving
it.
the spoiler alert. If any of you
Yeah.
guys on the live
I
stream
feel
want to
like-
just log off, go for
yeah,
it.
I feel like Steven, you're the one that hates spoilers the most. So
Well, I mean, Game of
it's up to
Thrones
you,
spoiled
you know?
this.
But
So
it's up
they
to
put
you.
it on their YouTube channel. So let's see. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. This is right after the battle. People who find the location for this need to win an Emmy. That's all they showed. That's it. So they're just running through the woods. Doesn't really tell us anything.
Yeah, that wasn't super spoilery. We're
Yeah.
good.
Do you want to see Cersei and Jaime? There's another
Okay.
little preview of Cersei and Jaime. Okay,
Like
let's watch
gross Cersei and Jaime? Or, okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
Is there any other kind?
Do you remember the first time you saw a dead body?
Mother.
All I could think about when she died was what would happen to her now. Every day, every night. What does Mama look like now? Has she started to bloat? Has her skin turned black? Have her lips peeled back from her teeth? I think about locking Marcella in a crypt. I think about her beautiful little face starting to close.
Don't think about it.
Ooh.
Don't pretend like you have humanity now. Come on. Do you guys
She
notice?
always did. It's just really misplaced, right? Like, she's always had empathy and feeling. It's just that none of it has been for anyone other than her family.
That's true. Yeah.
Fair enough. Loyalty. Anyone else notice the very prominent song of a bird in that clip? Like, there's no way that's an accident, right?
The bird?
Yeah.
I didn't notice, but that's a good one.
Symbolism. All right, cool. Well, so Game of Thrones premieres on HBO this Sunday at 6 o'clock Pacific. We're going to be tweeting about it with the hashtag GOTCNET all weekend, all week, our whole lives. Is that right? Is that how we're doing it, Caitlin?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Wait, Peter Dinklage. And the Peter
Sorry,
Dinklage.
I was distracted by Peter Dinklage.
Do we have the audio for that?
It's beautiful.
And so that video goes on for an hour?
An
is that
hour.
right?
Yeah, an hour of that.
I mean, it's just really good, like, background music for, like,
Yeah.
your party or
Get hyped.
your podcast or, you know. So like
So
think about it, you know.
Yeah.
Peter Dinklage. So
And now it's stuck in your head till the end of time.
It's an airworm.
And by the way, he was awesome on Saturday Night Live. If you guys haven't seen that episode where he hosted, check it out from like a month ago. It's awesome. And just to continue the oversized role that George R.R. Martin plays in my life, you heard me mention that I'm in Westeros North and Amanda's in Westeros South. That would be because Westeros Central, of course, is Santa Fe, New Mexico. Amanda's about an hour south there. I'm an hour north in Taos. And in Santa Fe last month, a little thing opened called Meow Wolf, and it's really weird. And the connection to George R.R. Martin is that he's just been like pouring tons of money into the Santa Fe arts community since he got a lot of it. And he reopened an old independent theater in downtown Santa Fe that's totally awesome. Amanda's gone to some events there where he's spoken, and he'll like introduce films sometimes or just like do Q&As at his theater. And then he also bought the building for this arts collective called Meow Wolf, and then they have opened their first permanent installation, and it's really difficult to describe it. These are photos I took of it last weekend, and it's called the House of Eternal Return. And it is basically, if you took a premise for a sci-fi novel and then you built the world of that sci-fi novel in a real space and then invited people to walk through it. It's totally insane. I mean, you walk in and there's basically, you walk into this house that they've constructed inside this old bowling alley. And then there's a house, and then kind of behind the house is there this weird, trippy kind of alternate universe, like all kinds of different scenes and rooms and tree houses and stuff you can walk through. And then there are also videos playing, and there's little audio things you can listen to. And so it's basically a completely non-linear story. And you just kind of have to walk around, and you walk around inside this world that's part of the story, and you kind of have to figure it out. Am I making any sense, Amanda? Does that seem right to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a combination of sci-fi, sort of a fantasy. There's like a little bit of a David Lynch fever dream happening in there. It is very hard to describe. There is an entire house, and when you first walk into the space, there's a lawn, the entire front of a house, front porch, and you walk, and this is all inside, and then you walk inside the house, which is inside of an old bowling alley. But it's quite a spectacular, very hands-on experience. There's things that you touch, musical instruments made out of lasers, and you play with those. There's an entire arcade inside of there with a very nice Tales from the Crypt pinball machine that I spent a lot of time on.
That's cool.
I mean, it's hard to explain it. And, when you first walk in, it's something like $15 to get in, and then they say to you, or you can pay $200 for the annual pass. So, I mean, like, imagine an art gallery saying, yeah, you can have pay $200 to come back and see the same installation over and over again. But then, like, once having gone through it and spent 3 hours in there, you really just begin to scratch the surface of it. And it actually totally makes sense to go back time and time again. I don't know that this has really gotten onto the national radar too much yet, but it's going to. I've never seen anything like it. I honestly, it's worth. Yeah, I think it's worth a flight to Albuquerque to come check it out. It's that unique and that interesting. Supposedly there's a companion movie that they're working on. I don't know if that's going to be an indie movie or something bigger budget. Probably pretty indie, I would imagine. But you walk into this house, like Amanda was saying, and it's a full-size house built inside an old bowling alley. And it's fully furnished, and nothing is there on accident. I mean, there are a full newspaper lying on the table that's a fake newspaper that has all these stories, and within the stories in this newspaper are clues to what is actually going on in the story behind this world that you're walking through. As you first walk in, there's a mailbox outside. If you open the mailbox, you can pull out the mail, like physically pull out old cards and stuff, and there's like clues in these cards. There's papers all over. I mean, nothing is out of place.
So can you interact with them? Like you were saying, like you can open the mailbox. Can you
Yes.
open the mail? Can you try and put a game into that game console that we
Yeah,
saw?
so that's
Can
a game
you
console.
all that stuff? Or can you just
Yeah.
sit and like hang out and watch the people walk through. What can you interact with and what can't you?
No, you can interact with pretty much anything that will respond to you. There's actually photos in there where like if you open up, and again, nobody tells you anything when you go into this. You like go in and poke around. And so like if you go in and you open the fridge is actually a secret door that leads to a travel facility to facilitate travel between universes. There's my daughter.
Sweet.
That's my daughter going through the back of the refrigerator. So she's in the refrigerator right now. And then she goes out the other side. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but
that's cool. They put ads in Flickr. There's like ads in Flickr.
Oh, okay.
It's like the little refrigerator reminds me of what is it? The Disney. Why am the name's escaping me right now?
Describe what you're feeling.
The girl who eats the things, she shrinks.
Alice in Wonderland?
Alice in Wonderland, yeah.
Oh, right.
I was thinking it reminded me of it's like the refrigerator to Narnia or something.
That looks like a hobbit hole.
Yeah, there's a lot of game consoles in here too, and video
ads.
games.
Woo!
I like.
Oh yeah, you were asking about
Those
the game
are cool,
console.
yeah. But then there was also the game console itself on the Sharpied in game console.
Yeah.
Like if you put one in, what would play?
I never tried the game console. There is a TV.
Well, now you have to go back, Eric.
I will. Trust me.
and report with details.
Is this a TV you're talking about?
No, there's a TV. I don't know if I got a photo because it's a regular TV just in the house, and it's connected to a VCR, and you can operate it, and it'll flip through different like crazy video clips that they have.
Oh, here's the game.
And then this is that. No, you couldn't. Those the cartridges were not near that.
Oh, okay.
But can they be moved? Could you still?
Maybe.
I don't know. It sounds like a very crazy interactive exhibition. Maybe you could.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on about it forever because it's so fascinating. And yeah, the gallery is called Meow Wolf. The building's owned by George R.R. Martin, and House of Eternal Return in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Highly recommended. If you haven't heard about it, I think you will soon. And then one other project I wanted to touch on really quick is the Crowdsourced sci-fi novel, which actually has similar elements to it that are in the House of Eternal Return there. We don't have a title for it yet, but last November, during National Novel Writing Month, we asked the world to help us write a full-length science fiction novel. And you guys did. Over the course of a month, actually 2 months, we let it go on a little longer. We had hundreds of people who from around the world went into this Google Doc that I set up. I had kind of an outline of a story, and I just asked people to flesh out the story and actually write some of the chapters that I had already summarized. And we're at about 40,000 words.
Wow.
It's insane. Yeah, it's a 110-page, I guess, novella at the moment. And since February, I took what the crowd had created, and I took it offline in February to kind of start going through it, filling in some of the gaps, cleaning it up a little bit to something that we can actually publish. And so the plan right now is to publish it on CNET as a series. We'll probably run like one chapter a day for like a month. Right here on CNET. And right now what we're looking for, we've got all the words, we crowdsourced the words, and we're printing them up right now. But we did actually put out a call last week. We'd love to actually crowdsource some art for this as well. I mean, we crowdsourced the words, so why not crowdsource some visuals so that piece that Stephen had up there on the screen, if you can find that piece on CNET, just go to CNET or anywhere, or go into Google and search for Crowd Sci-Fi. That's kind of the tagline we've given this. CROWD SCIFI, Crowd Sci-Fi is the shorthand for this. We're looking for people who can contribute. It could be illustrations, could be artwork, could be an infographic, could be a map or something, could be a vine. We've done some vines that kind of illustrate some of the scenes.
I have your vine. Do you want me to play it?
It's random, but yeah, you can get an idea.
I'll play it.
Name's Matt, friend of your dad's. You could say I fund his research.
You're a government guy, right?
You could say that.
So anyway, that is one of the scenes from the book. I didn't write that scene. I don't even know who wrote that scene.
It's good.
It's been a really cool experience. I mean, there were people involved from Brazil, from India, from the UK, from the US, obviously. And so I'm really excited to, let everyone see the final product. But we'd love to, crowdsource the process of printing it up a little bit. So if you go on CNET, I have posted some excerpts from the final version to kind of for some inspiration. If anyone who's interested in illustrating those scenes, you can see like in the italics there, those are actual excerpts from the final version that we're finalizing right now to give you a little inspiration. And actually, the entire rough draft of the story, it's still online, and you can still go into it and edit it. The entire project is Creative Commons, which means it's going to live there as long as Google will let me have that doc up. So anyone can go in and mess around with it, add to it, edit it, take it somewhere else and build off of it. I fully encourage that. It's been a super interesting process and really cool to work with people from around the world. What was most interesting working on this is there were several people who their English wasn't their first language, and they told me they weren't necessarily comfortable writing in English. But they wanted to be involved. So we had like people from Brazil and India who they didn't speak English, but they kind of helped organize the story and organize some of the scenes. And we had a Facebook group and they helped with brainstorming. I mean, it was truly incredible the way, people just contributed whatever they could because they, people love the idea of creating a world. And in this case, creating a whole multiverse. So anyway, that's...
Yay, humans.
Yay, humans. And
for a change.
Some who aren't necessarily humans.
Yay.
Congrats on doing that, Eric.
Humans.
That's a huge undertaking. It's pretty incredible what you did. It's awesome.
Thanks. I appreciate it. And yeah, that's why it started in November and it's now April, and we still haven't finished it because it's a gigantic wall
Shooting
of words.
for the 1-year anniversary.
Yeah, exactly. And Kelsey, who's normally on here on the CraveCast, she's been helping me work through it and shape it. So. With Leslie, we're working on that, and we'll have that up next month. So look out for that, and send us your art. You can actually tweet it at Crave. Tweet any questions about contributing art or anything else at me or at Crave, and we'll get in contact with you. And so that's that. And then Caitlin, you had a feature you've been working on too, right?
Yeah, actually, Ayaz and I crafted a whole Marvel Cinematic Universe and DC Extended Universe explainer. And so this kind of just goes through a lot of those differences, similarities, and ultimately which one's better. So we talk about how not all Marvel movies are a part of the MCU or the Avengers franchise, and kind of what it means for the future of films.
Is this your drawing here? Is this your artwork?
No, that's actually from the gentleman in the UK.
Okay.
Luke Westway made that video, I believe. And I don't know. It's a topic, obviously, I'm super interested in, and I really enjoy writing about Marvel and comic book movies. And we also, we have this really great timeline here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Sweet.
all the upcoming comic book movies for the next few years. And so you can see all those.
Cool.
Yeah, it came out really, really well. I think it's a beautiful piece. If it's something you're interested in, definitely check it out. It's on the front page of CNET right now. And really, I think you can actually Google Marvel versus DC, and it'll be on that page somewhere.
That's
which
awesome.
Is nice.
That's great.
That's super helpful because I mean that might be the only universes that I have as hard a time following as Westeros, ever expanding.
It is, and that's part of why it's so interesting, especially with the release of Batman Superman recently, and everyone's question of, wait, is this connected to Man of Steel? Is it connected to Suicide Squad? How do those all fit in together? So this is like a handy little cheat sheet for you.
I heard an audible groan from Mr. Sparkman.
Oh, was that that was out loud?
It was about Batman versus
It's necessary.
Batman vs. Superman.
Best part of that movie was Wonder Woman.
Yes, you are correct.
Do we have any final thoughts from Jeff Sparkman?
That movie sucked. Oh, was that out loud too? That was pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's about it for today. Amanda, anything else you're working on that we need to mention?
Oh, actually, coming up for Game of Thrones fans, probably on Wednesday, we're going to have a George R.R. Martin specific quiz. So once you've conquered your Game of Thrones quiz, check back here in the next day or two, and we will have a George R.R. Martin one. So you might want to start studying up on what kind of car he drives.
I have a new theory that Amanda's cat is Jon Snow.
I don't know, but it's looking pretty regal up there, that's for sure.
This is what I put up with all day.
I should have had a lower third for your cat.
The Rio
next
Nights
time.
watch.
Next time.
Next time on the CraveCast, a lower third for Amanda's cat. I think that's it for today. So, Game of Thrones, again, Sunday evening. We'll be tweeting about it all over the place. Do I have that hashtag right, Caitlin? It's GOTCNet, right?
It's
We're gonna be
got CNET.
got CNET.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Much more Game of Thrones stuff to come. Look for it all on cnet.com/crave. That's where you'll find everything else we've been talking about today. For Jeff Sparkman, Caitlin Petrakovitz, Amanda Kuzer, and Stephen Beecham, I'm Eric Mack. This has been the CraveCast. See you next time.
Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage.